Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am super excited to dive into this one with you because we're looking at a genuinely fascinating dynamic today. It's essentially a real-time masterclass in how you balance micro-level conservation with macro-level expansion. We are going to break down the incredibly urgent global energy crisis that's putting serious pressure on the economy right now and look at the PM's dual strategy. Because on one hand, we're navigating this global fuel challenge, but on the other hand, there is a massive, simultaneous regional infrastructure boom happening. It's a strategy that's definitely challenging, but also incredibly ambitious. Let's get into it.
So, here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the global crisis in energy. Then, the PM's appeal to citizens, followed by the industrial boom in Telangana. After that, we'll hit connectivity and railways, then India's energy security, and finally wrap up with the vision for Viksit Bharat.
All right, kicking things off with part one, global crisis in energy. We've got to start by looking at the sheer economic pressure this current global crisis, especially the fallout from international conflicts, is putting on the national wallet.
The PM was actually pretty blunt about this reality. He stated very simply, India does not have oil wells. And because we lack those natural reserves, soaring global fuel prices aren't just some minor inconvenience at the pump for us. They are a direct, massive drain on our vital foreign exchange reserves. When those global prices spike, the national economy takes an immediate hit.
So, the core issue here is that literally every single drop of imported fuel we use right now comes at an absolute premium. The cost of petrol and diesel has just skyrocketed globally. And that makes conservation not just a smart personal financial choice, but quite literally a national duty to protect the country's economic stability from these wild external shocks.
Which brings us to Section 2, the PM's appeal to citizens.
How exactly do you get a nation of over 1 billion people to collectively save foreign currency? Well, the PM appealed for some very specific personal sacrifices. He asked people to suspend foreign travel for a year to keep currency inside our borders. He also suggested avoiding purchasing gold for a year, which, let's be honest, is a massive cultural shift for India, but it directly saves foreign exchange. And finally, reducing the use of imported chemical fertilizers in farming. It's a very direct appeal to tweak our daily habits for the greater national interest.
But beyond just our shopping habits, it's also about a tactical shift in how we move. He laid out a pretty actionable toolkit. Use the metro if your city's got one. Carpool when you absolutely have to take a personal car. Shift to an electric vehicle if you can. And for the business side of things, moving freight off of diesel-guzzling trucks and onto our electric rail networks. Because at the end of the day, every bit of fuel saved is foreign currency saved.
Interestingly enough, this strategy also brings back a major silver lining from the pandemic days: remote work. Readopting work-from-home setups and doing virtual online meetings can drastically cut down on the daily commute. We already built this digital infrastructure during COVID, right? So leveraging it now to ease the heavy fuel burden on the country is just a highly practical solution.
Moving right along to Section 3, the industrial boom in Telangana. Now that we've covered the crisis and the need to conserve, let's dramatically shift gears to the solution side of things.
Because while the nation is being asked to conserve resources at the micro level, regions like Cyberabad are doing the exact opposite at the macro level. They're expanding on a truly breathtaking scale. We're talking about a transformation into global manufacturing powerhouses, with mega infrastructure projects that are bringing in thousands of crores in new investments and generating vast amounts of new employment. Take the Zahirabad Industrial Smart City, for example. You can't just hand over a plot of land and expect global investors to flock there, right? You have to offer world-class infrastructure. You need cutting-edge information and communication technology networks, and absolutely reliable, high-quality power. That is how you actually create a modern manufacturing hub that empowers local farmers, factory workers, and thousands of young professionals all at once. And hey, it's not just heavy manufacturing either. Down in Warangal, the PM Metro Park is aiming to revive India's incredible legacy as a global textile powerhouse. Backed by the central government's production-linked incentive schemes, this park is built to spark a modern textile revolution. And what's really crucial here is that it's specifically designed to create abundant, meaningful employment opportunities for women in the region.
Section 4, connectivity and railway development. Because let's face it, these amazing industrial hubs are basically useless without the arteries to connect them.
I want you to just let this number sink in for a second.
1.75 lakh crore rupees. That massive figure represents the central government's investment exclusively in national highways. It just perfectly highlights the unprecedented scale of this infrastructure push, which is all designed to move goods and people faster than ever before. And as you can see, the results are staggering. Look at this. The national highway network in Telangana alone has completely doubled in the last 11 years. Doubled! Widening these highways significantly cuts down travel times and slashes freight costs. And if you're an industry looking to set up shop in one of these new smart cities, that is absolute music to your ears.
To really drive this point home, the PM highlighted a pretty stark contrast in connectivity focus. Think about this. Before 2014, the railway budget for the entire undivided Andhra Pradesh was less than 1,000 crore rupees. Today, the railway budget for just the state of Telangana is roughly 5,000 crore rupees. That is a massive multiplier prioritizing regional growth right now.
So where exactly is that 5,000 crore going? Well, there are currently 30,000 crore rupees wrapped up in ongoing rail projects across the state. That's bringing modern transit, like 5 operational Vande Bharat trains and 6 Amrit Bharat trains, online. Plus, they're doing major structural upgrades, like the Kazipet multi-tracking and bypass lines, making both everyday passenger travel and heavy freight transportation so much more efficient.
Okay, Section 5, India's energy security. The big question here is, as we build all this massive new infrastructure, how do we actually power it without falling right back into the trap of importing expensive foreign oil?
Well, the government is executing a very specific, step-by-step transition strategy. First step was achieving 100% LPG coverage. Now they're pivoting to expand cheaper piped gas and CNG networks. They are aggressively accelerating ethanol blending in our petrol. And on a true macro scale, they're expanding solar power so fast that India has actually reached global top-tier status. It's this multi-pronged approach that really builds a shield against future energy shocks.
And you can really see this localized focus in action with things like the brand new Indian oil terminal that was just inaugurated in Makapur. Building out local infrastructure like this is critical. It guarantees that as the state's industries grow at this breakneck pace, their specific energy needs are securely met locally, strengthening the whole supply chain right at the source.
Finally, Section 6, Vision for Viksit Bharat. How does all this intense, state-level development tie into the grander vision for the whole country?
It all boils down to this one core philosophy, Viksit Bharat. This shared resolution to transform India into a fully developed nation by 2047, it's not just a job for the central government. India can only become a developed nation if its individual states, like Telangana, develop first. The macro relies entirely on the micro.
And this brings us to a really crucial point about collaboration. The PM actually addressed the state's leadership directly on this. He assured them that, look, in a democracy, having different political parties in power at the state and central levels is not a bad thing. It's not a barrier. The central government remains fully committed to their mutual developmental goals, simply because without the state's success, the nation as a whole cannot succeed.
So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this powerful question to chew on. Can this dual strategy, where you and I are asked to make personal sacrifices and conserve resources, while at the exact same time state and central governments are collaborating to build unprecedented mega infrastructure, can that ultimately shield the nation from global instability? It's a truly fascinating combined micro and macro approach. Is this the ultimate key to our future resilience? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I will catch you in the next one.